this is the approach of the Baal Haturim to Har Sinai. So the Baal Haturim writes about Har Sinai. So first he points out, Samach Mikalel Behar Sinai. The end of the previous portion ends with the case of the person who curses God. He goes out in the camp and he curses God. So why is that connected? Why is that the passage connected to the Shemitah year, which is to the Shemitah laws which are taught at Har Sinai? Because at Sinai they heard, do not take God's name in vain. And the whole world shook. And this person heard it and he wasn't careful. And furthermore, okay, so now this is the explanation which I think is most relevant for our discussion. It says, Kedisa b'kedushin, Shem ben arba otiot, chachamim mosrim oso talmideim pamachas b'shavua. The Gemara in Kedushin tells us that God's name, which has 4 letters in it, the sages teach their students how to pronounce it once only every 7 years. We actually had a discussion about this in today's Daf Yomi, because the Kohanim, when they gave the priestly blessing in the temple, in the Beit HaMikdash, they would use the 4-letter name of God. But when they're outside the temple, then they only used what's called a kinoi. Excuse me. They only used a nickname for God. And so therefore...
Rabbi, did you get sick on your travels back?
No, I just...
sounding well.
I appreciate that. I'm okay. I just have a little cold. It was a hard trip, but I'm fine. Okay. I'm fine. It's over now, actually. Thank you. So basically, so therefore it's connected to the sabbatical year. So in the priestly blessing, we're told that in the temple they use the 4-letter name of God, but outside the temple today we never pronounce the actual name of God. We're not even sure how it's pronounced. I mean, we have a good theory, but the idea is normally we pronounce it as if it were spelled Ado and then Nai, meaning my master, my lords. At other times it's not pronounced at all. So when we say Hashem, that literally means the name. So but today's Daf Yomi said that they would pronounce it when they give the priestly blessing. So therefore, this name will be secretly handed over to, I guess, a group of scholars every 7 years. This is in addition to the priestly blessing, because once they stopped giving the priestly blessing in the temple, we're going to lose how the name of God is pronounced. So therefore, every 7 years, the name would be handed over. I don't know who still has that tradition today of it being handed over. I'm not privy to that. But that's why the Baal Haturim says it's next to the passage of Mount Sinai. So once we're here at the Baal Haturim, we just share one more teaching from the Baal Haturim. It says in the Baal Haturim says about the word freedom, because this to me is one of the most powerful passages in the whole Torah, is the idea that in the Jubilee year, which is the 7th sabbatical year, the next year, you have to sound the shofar and say, let there be freedom in the land. I don't even think we really appreciate freedom. When I was in Saudi Arabia, it's illegal to worship another faith in public other than Islam. And not only that, we had a woman driver. This woman driver, when she drove us, when she picked us up in the city, like we were in different Jeeps, she was wearing covering from head to toe with the exception of her eyes being visible. But then when we got out to the desert and we weren't around anybody else, she took off her coverings and she was wearing just a t-shirt. And she wasn't wearing as modest. She was still dressed modestly, but she wasn't wearing the excessive, I don't say excessive, but the extra layers of modesty that she wore in the city. And that's clearly, she was probably dressing like that under duress. So we don't necessarily appreciate freedom. So the purpose of the Jubilee year was to declare freedom in the land. And the Baal Haturim says the freedom is the gematria is 410. And the 410 is the number of years that we had the temple. So that's what the Baal Haturim is saying, that we have true freedom when we have our temple, because true freedom is spiritual freedom. That's true freedom, spiritual freedom. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share today. And I appreciate your patience with my cough.